Guys, welcome to another episode of the Advisory Board podcast, where we bring in experts in the franchising community to educate us and give us practical, actionable insights that will help us to build memorable brands that will last and thrive. I've got with me a friend of mine, Josh Yonke, and I didn't even ask. Did I say your last name right, Yonke?
You know what? You actually did. So
Okay.
that makes you about the fourth person in 40 years that has actually got that right. I've heard, honky, jonky, donkey, all kinds of things. It
Yeah.
sounds really cool, but it really just means son of John in German. So I'm basically a Johnson with a different twang on it. How's
Okay.
that?
I love that. Actually, I was going to ask, but not on scripts. That's perfect. So, if you guys haven't met Josh, if you came to the Service Franchise Summit, you absolutely met Josh. But he has been working with business partner Russ Burnett, if you know Russ, on some really crazy cool AI. Leashed AI is the company. He's the co-founder and the chief revenue officer. Deep background in franchising, deep background in services. I mean, he helped lead Thumbtack and the sales group from zero to $100 million. Like Josh he knows this world super well, and it's one reason why I like him. He's also a no nonsense kind of a guy. So you can ask him something, he's going to tell you the truth, which is going to be great today in this session. Before we jump in, Josh, things you guys ought to know that I think are fun and unique about Josh. He comes from a military background, served time in the U.S. Army. So thanks for that, Josh.
Of course.
And also thanks for being an Army brat because that's harder, I think, sometimes growing up that way than even serving in the military. So great sacrifices all around there. Got a family, loves the outdoors, comes from the East Coast, and avid Ohio. I almost said the wrong one. Ohio
It's the
State,
Ohio State, Dave. Come
the
on.
Ohio State football fan. Used to, in the Army, he was jumping out of helicopters behind howitzers and shooting stuff. Like just cool guy all around, but down to earth, very approachable. So, Josh, before I get too pandering here, like tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us about Leased AI, and then we'll jump into our topic, which is how do we leverage AI effectively in the sales prospecting follow-up process to get massive ROI. And we'll jump
I
into
don't know,
that
Dave.
after
You,
you
you
tell us a
made
bit
me
more
sound
about
a
you.
lot cooler than I could myself. So maybe we stick with yours. But no, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Actually, just one correction there. My father was in the Navy, did the career
Oh,
Navy thing, so we bounced around. And I my sisters would disagree. I mean, they're doctors now, so I don't know why they would disagree. But I loved it. I feel like it shaped my career, and frankly, like. I have no issues walking up to somebody and talking to them about anything at this point. And frankly, if you have to move every 2 years and go to three elementary schools and two different middle schools and four different high schools, like you need to learn how to make friends. And frankly, I think it's probably what got me into sales and helped see success throughout the years. But um, that said, was previously at Thumbtack. I was there for about 7 years for their first sales hire and just absolutely love that business. I know a lot of folks within the franchising space are familiar with that, but had this opportunity, and I've been friends with Russell, as you alluded to, for, I don't know, 13 years at this point. In fact, a little unknown fact, I actually worked with Russell, took a job with him at Online Image many years ago out of Philadelphia. I was living in Philadelphia, and he recruited me to come out here to help build out the franchising and multi-location space, and really grew business with some of the larger brands, the State Farms, the Allstates, the companies that have got tons of locations and tons of owners there, and then went to Thumbtack, and we came to back together several years. And I don't think he likes the explanation, but I always say he courted me for about a year and asked me, "Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, check this out. Hey, do you think this marketing play would work really well?" And just within our friendship there, I think he was slowly integrating this leased AI thing, which was essentially a product that he had with online image, but really, frankly, just didn't make a ton of sense for an AI and SEO and marketing company. So we decided here about a year and a half ago to break it off in its own business, and we spent about 6 months building out the infrastructure, operational pieces, and went live here at the beginning of the year and started marketing, going to conferences. But essentially, circling back to your question, what do we do? We're a conversational AI company, which really is a vague statement to say the very least, because we do so many different things from phone calls for inbound and outbound for franchise development on the franchisee side to help book appointments and jobs for them, We do web agents that are fully automated AI-based web chats that people can even go as far as to schedule just through your website, talking to your chatbot that's available 24/7. We do SMS, automated SMS and email. We've even got some really cool standalone products that work for marketing. So we just released a couple different products, one being a social media responder, which works with all of Meta's products and can respond to all of their messages and DMs that they get. I know a lot of companies are doing a lot of social media marketing.
Mhm.
This is 24/7. It's available, it's on brand, it can schedule, it does all of those things. So there's no more lost or wasted marketing dollars on your social media. Another one we launched is LSA responders, which help with, if you're familiar with it all, Dave, is Google's got their local service ads where people can
Yeah.
actually talk and message directly through Google with a business. And
Mhm.
we've created some responders that actually do that again on brand, can schedule and get those taken care of for pretty low cost. It's
Yeah.
substantially cheaper than hiring somebody to sit there from 9 to 5 and respond to these. And by the way, this doesn't work 9 to 5; it works 24/7. So,
Right.
um,
Yeah.
like you said, the
Awesome.
conversational AI is vague. So I figured I'd give a little bit more on some of the
Context.
services and some of the products that we offer. But we're
Yeah.
constantly coming out with some new offerings. People bring stuff to us. We go, oh my gosh, that's a really cool idea. Let's build that out for you. One that we just did, I won't drop any names, but just built out a roofing estimator that actually utilizes AI and imagery from Google Maps and things like that. That essentially will be able to quote out roofing jobs or gutter jobs or different. Basically anything that goes on the home that needs to be quoted that a lot of franchisees are spending an hour of manpower to drive out to just to quote. We
Right.
could do it right then and there just from AI and technology. So
That's rad.
a lot
I've
of cool
actually,
stuff.
well, offline we'll have to talk. I've got a concept that probably needs to talk to you guys about that. So, and they're already on our platforms. That'd be cool.
No,
Uh,
let's do it.
Awesome. Hey
It's
guys,
already
so
built.
one of the reasons why, I mean, there's some pretty cool announcements coming, I think, between our organizations too. We will tease on that. We won't talk about it yet today in this episode, but you'll see why I wanted Josh to come. Like obviously a guy who's involved in that many different things and understands the sales and the industry so well, partnering with a wizard like Russ, like they're building some really neat stuff, but their perspective is very deep and broad. And so I wanted to frame up a couple of things I know Josh can shed a lot of light on that will give you some insights. As there are so many pundits out there using AI to summarize other people's articles to tell you what you should do with AI, like they live this day in, day out, and they've got really practical applications that are driving solid ROI for clients. So first, if you don't mind, I mean, Josh, tell us just a little bit about uh, how does somebody create good AI? You were saying before, like it really depends on a couple of key things, but like anyone can go out and set up a GPT or a Perplexity or a Claude or something and then have it like do something hyper basic. But like how do you actually create an AI that's going to be conversational and really drive performance in a sales environment? What are the key ingredients there?
Yeah, I think there's three key factors, right? And the first is, and I think everybody's heard that the analogy, good in, good out. But like it's the information that's being utilized, right? The more information that you, and I made a comment about some of the products earlier of it being on brand.
Mhm.
AI is not on brand right away, right? It is going to take time and training. Like it's just the same way. Like I see it as the same way as you hired a salesperson. You're gonna
Mhm.
have to put that person through onboarding. You're gonna have to put them through training. You're gonna have to QA their phone calls and tell them fix this, fix that. It's the same concept with AI, right? So feeding it good information in the first place, right? And making sure that you're training it and going back and saying, hey, no, you should have said that. So again, the key components are the information it's provided, the training that it's given, and the person who did that in the first place, right? So I think you're hitting the nail on the head. You've got these pundits, but like it's the same concept. Like if I wouldn't hand a brand new salesperson who's got 0 years of experience in AI and say, hey, go make this go sell. They
Mhm.
don't know anything about sales. They don't know anything about cadencing. They don't know anything about best times to call and get in touch with people. They don't know objections and rebuttals and things like that, right? That's things that are learned, right? And years of experience. So the person implementing it and the planning that goes into it is pretty critical, right? You can't just go, "Hey AI, make this work." That's not how it works. You've got to have the right person in there that says, "Hey AI, you're going to be an AI that makes 7 to 10 attempts, and you're going to mix it up. You're going to find the best times, and you're also going to focus on when are you getting the best answer rates and what are the best conversion rates? And oh, by the way, here's going to be your main objections. Here's your rebuttal. Make sure you utilize this. And then we're also going to have you hooked up with the system so that you go back and you put notes into the CRM so that the next person that calls actually can do that. And I don't know about you, Dave. I'm seeing you smiling, but you obviously have salespeople. Salespeople don't do that, or at least well. That they might get one in every five where they actually put good notes in the CRM there. So, and that's not a shake on them. I think I'd probably just as guilty on that with my career in sales. But you just get busy and you're moving to the next one, and you're trying to focus on that, and obviously that's not. AI is not human. It's not going to do that. It's
Right.
going to do what it's told, and it's told to write those notes, set up follow-ups, make sure your cadencing works. Hey, switch it up. If you left a voicemail, send an SMS next time. So it's again, it's only as good as the person implementing it and the
Right.
information that it's given.
Well, I want to riff on that for a second because if we separate into like two parts, right? At least the training side, there there are a lot of really brilliant AI tech people, right? They know AI. They know how to set something up. They know how to set up a training, but so that's critical. You got to have the technical, the nerdy side of the AI, so you're training it properly, giving it the right feedback, and iterating fast, right? But then there's the other side, which is the pragmatic, the I would say the contextualized knowledge of best practices.
Yep.
And if you don't have both, I could spin up an AI seriously. I could spin up a GPT or something in probably 5 minutes. They could do a very basic function. But if I'm
Yep.
not an expert in the function I'm training it in, it'll never get that great. It'll always be like a B minus C plus. And I think a lot of people are seeing that now. There's like all this excitement and hype about AI, but then people are like, well, but I had a wah 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 moment. Like
Yeah. It
it
didn't
didn't do
work
what I
for me,
wanted.
so AI doesn't work.
Exactly. And so I think some people are you're seeing that the people running toward that cliff of AI doesn't work. Oh, it does. It does, but it's got to be set up right. So yeah, I think like you said, the cadences, the training, the context, all those things are critical. But then how do you apply AI, right? So okay, I train this thing in my closet. Now, how do I get that to now be to be working in a living environment outside the DMZ so it can actually engage with humans and start doing something useful in a
Yeah, no,
sales context.
that's a really good question. I want to touch on one of the topics you had brought out there. So like, it's about expertise. It's about the context and things like that. I mean, I've got little rocket scientists in here, but their answer would be, well, it made a phone call. Well, that great, good
Right.
job. Well, can we make a phone call and then additional phone calls and have good conversations to actually set the appointment, which was the goal in the first place. So there's I think you hit the nail on the head with that of yes, so you having these folks in here that are smart and can build these things and train them and know everything about the computer science side and the AI side there, but don't necessarily understand sales at all.
Mm,
That's important. As far as like implementing it, I think is your question. You can redirect me if I'm not quite understanding it. But you know, AI is useless without knowledge bases, right? So how do we integrate to your CRM, right? You when you have a salesperson, you want them to go put those notes in, right? After they make that phone call. So having that integration allows not only a knowledge base for the AI, but also it can go through and look at the leads. When was the last attempt? All those things, and really, and again, this is that information you got to give the AI in the first place of you need to do this, and having that context is critical. But once you've got it in there, so you build those integrations, have integrations into your calendar and integrations into your phone systems, integrations with a great CRM partner that already has those things. And then once those are set up, you then just tell you, hey, here's your job. Your job is to get 10 appointments today. Call through these lead lists until you get that. And the cool thing is unlike humans, this AI can make 20 phone calls at a time and hold 20 conversations at a time as well. So it's implementing it as a whole. It's working with partners to set up those integrations. But more importantly, also looking at the security and the compliance side for them as well, right? In the same way that humans can't go send an SMS to somebody that hasn't said, yes, send me an SMS, neither can AI, right? And I think this isn't part of your question, but I think a critical piece is like finding the right partner that has looked at those things and considered those things and isn't going to get you a $1,500 fine for every SMS that you illegally sent. So
Yeah.
it's a
Mhm.
lot of that, but again, it still comes back to that experience and that context of who is setting it up, right? Because to your point, I mean, at this point, who can't go right hey, do this in ChatGPT.
Mhm.
I think everybody's sort of got that, but it's really who's the author of that writing it, and the result's going to be different based on the author.
No, I hear you, it feels like um, it, there's so much potential, right? There's so much potential in the way we can set these things up. There's so much potential for scale, and as you were just talking at the end, I was like, man, like yes, you have to have somebody who understands the context and who can guide it and who can train it to do the task effectively. Who's the master at the task? Who's
Mm.
the master salesperson? That's who needs to help and get involved in the training, in addition to the nerd herd that's got to build this thing out properly, right? But then you just mentioned something critical at the end, which is, all right, how do we remain compliant as we're building these suckers out? Because SMS compliance, outbound, like an AI that's calling someone, it's not like a normal. If Josh picks up the phone and calls you, and you haven't opted in for him to call you, like unless you're on a DNC and he's a business, like he can call you,
Yeah.
right? But there's a little bit of extra layer now, like that's developed around like automated calls, where there has to be a specific opt-in for automated calls and automated texts. And I'll just tell you right now, we do research on the industry and we do lead response assessments with brands that we work with to see how they're doing before we meet with them. Only 40%, 45% of the websites we've checked, and we've checked a lot in the industry, are actually compliant on their opt-in statements to even text people.
Mm.
And yet they're still texting people and they're still calling people. And if you start plugging in AI into this ecosystem, right? Awesome, supercharge your sales, but you also have to make sure you have like the regulatory
Yeah.
compliance things in check
But
too.
at what cost, right?
Yeah.
Hey, this is working today because nobody's looking. But the minute somebody looks, they're going to go back several years. And yeah, yeah, you made that sale. Well, that SMS that you made the sale from that made you $300, well, that's $1,500 fine,
Mhm.
along with the thousand that you sent that didn't actually make a sale. So,
Correct.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm actually surprised it's even that high, Dave. I mean, like I've seen this over the years, and um, it's sort of situational, right? There's a lot of businesses out there that are sort of skirting around it, and it's just because they haven't been caught yet, you
Yeah.
know. But
Yeah.
but I mean, you get hit with one of those, you're out of business.
Right.
I don't know about you. I don't have $5 million sitting around to go pay a fine for something that I didn't even make $5 million from.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's all about E&O, man. But you do not want to touch that policy if you can ever avoid it, right? Yeah. So let's shift. So I think we get that, right? Like there's the training side, there's the compliance side, there's the practical. Let's talk about the practical application because most of what we've talked about so far is like maybe initial lead follow up, missed appointment follow up. If somebody doesn't show up, how do we get back on track with that? Where are some other areas you're seeing people really leverage the power of conversational AI, text, email, phone call services, or even, it sounds like DMs, LSAs, like, these sorts of things. How else are you seeing people apply it in creative ways that are creating real leverage for their sales departments to create scale?
Yeah, I think and this is outside of your question, like, and this is sort of an odd statement from a career salesperson, but really my favorite part is the customer experience side, right? And maybe I'm uh focused on it specifically because I really feel like customer service has gone out of the window in the last 10 years, and
Mm.
customer experience isn't great. I mean, I can count on one hand just in the last month of bad customer experiences I've had with one company or another. And that's probably what I think is really exciting is like, you know, and I guess I could sum it up into an easy statement. Would you like to talk to AI that you know is AI and get an immediate response when you call into your problem and have your problem solved? Or do you want to wait on hold for 45 minutes to get with somebody that you likely will only understand half of what they're saying? And I think when
Option
you
A,
sum it
please.
up that way, it's a pretty easy answer.
Yeah, option A for
No,
sure.
I'm really excited about the customer experience side, and and again, I think I'm hyper focused on it because I've had so many bad customer experiences in the last couple of years. I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Like how do I fix this for people that don't have to go through this same experience that I just went through of wasting 2 hours and sometimes more of my life to not even get the answer I wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
So
Anyone who's ever had to rebook a flight knows exactly what you're talking about,
yep,
right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait till the airlines get this figured out and start deploying it properly because I
Yep.
sure would love to get that problem solved.
Well, and a lot of that stuff on there right now is just actually glorified chatbots.
Mhm.
If you have to push one for anything, you're not really talking to a full-fledged AI.
No, you're not.
So
Yeah. I mean, here are a couple of thoughts that come to my mind too. Like if you're looking at ways to apply AI, and help me with this list, Josh, because you're the king here on this topic. I've seen a lot of people who want after hours, 24/7 support, especially
Yeah.
home services, like anyone who's got emergency service related, plumbers, HVAC, etc. I talked to a guy earlier today, and he was saying that in his with his client base, he sees that the majority of appointments that are booked after
After
hours
hours.
of
Yeah.
operation. Well, put yourself in the shoes of anyone who's got to go to work, who doesn't work from home, and maybe spouses are working, or single parents. They work all day away from the home. They show up at the house at 6:30 at night, and it's 85
My
degrees.
AC is out. Oh, what do I do?
Right, right. So, or let's say you're in franchise development, and when do the high net worth people that are busy during the day have time to follow up and look at the crap that you sent them for that franchise
Exactly.
you sent an inquiry for? Oh, 6 or 7 o'clock at night.
Hmm.
So how like so the after hour support when people actually have time to talk, like we need to have a better solution there than we do. And a lot of people have leaned into like call centers after hour services. Those are fine too, but when you're looking at
BPOs.
the
Yep.
cost, yeah, the cost of that is completely different than the AI cost.
Yeah. No, I mean, in some cases, anywhere from 10 to 30x the additional cost of what AI could do. No, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like there's a ton of different use cases there. And in fact, several of the products we built are actually just based on those use cases, right? The after hours one I think is critical. You've hit that one and really explained it perfectly. I don't know that there's a whole lot more I can add to that. It's a lot of businesses taking place when businesses are closed, and being able to have someone that again is an arm of your business, is on brand, can answer questions, and then schedule it for you for the next day when
Mhm.
you're in and available and not busy with your family having dinner. Is critical, right? And to your point, over the years they paid for calling or answering services, BPOs, paying doing different schedules. You've got your morning and your evening people, and this really solves that, and still more importantly provides that customer touch and customer experience that's critical, right? I mean, I don't know that having somebody talk to a robot at 7 o'clock when especially on the dev side, when we're talking to somebody that's going to drop a couple $100,000, they're not going to want to talk to a robot. Right? They're going to want to talk to somebody that can answer their basic questions and then get them scheduled to talk to the human that is the expert in it the next day. But yeah, there's, I'm sure, I don't know how much time you have. There's a laundry list of use cases here. I mean, we built the social responder because we had a big client that went, I just dropped a $500,000 and had one person that was supposed to be responding to these. She got too many, couldn't respond to them in a timely manner. And oh, by the way, most of them actually came in after hours, after the hours that she was done.
Mhm.
They just wasted, I won't say wasted, but they spent yeah, wasted is a pro for one for. They wasted $500,000 when they could have just used AI to respond to all these and get
Mhm.
all of these done. So that was
Right.
a use case to build that one out. Now we've got that for that client now, and they won't run into
Mhm.
that again. It's a similar with the LSA responder is that 24/7 availability, right? And again, 24/7 availability is great, but you have to have something that's on brand, that sounds like it's an arm of your business, that is there to take care of the customer, answer their questions, and get them scheduled to talk to the expert the next day.
Yeah. And I think there are probably countless ways that you could think through this, especially top of funnel stuff, things coming in, inquiries, etc. Boy, like I really see the application is universal in that bar. Getting deeper into the sales funnel, there are ways, right? Like trying to keep people in channel when they're in like franchise development discussions, so they don't feel like they've got to go outside, or you send somebody an FDD and you can engage them with an agent that a conversational text thread saying, "Hey, what questions have you got? Have you taken a look at the item 7? Have you taken a look at the item 19?" Like you could train people or AIs that are deeper in the funnel that
Yeah,
can carry on
there's
these
sort of middle
conversations.
funnel for follow-ups, and
Right.
I mean, here's your reality. Like, we're humans, we make mistakes. I guarantee I could probably walk over to any salesperson in the US and find 10 people that they were supposed to follow up that they forgot about, right?
Mhm.
AI is not going to forget about it, right? And if we could set up those middle of the funnel campaigns that are I mean, for multiple different use cases. I mean, what's it, a 50% show rate for appointments at this point on average? Great. We'll take that other 50%. Let's get them back on the calendar. They're the ones that didn't show up for an appointment.
Yeah.
Okay, great. The people that we know that are, middle of the funnel, they're maybe at final details or whatever the specific marker or nomenclature is for the CRM or that the customer's using. But okay, we'll call through all that, make one touch to everything that's in final details right now and say, do you have any more questions? What are next steps for you? What additionally do you need from me? And I mean, just think of like how much stronger, faster, better your sales reps would be if all of that I don't want to say minute because it's not. Those are critical pieces of the sales process, but I guess repetitive and easily forgotten and I can't think of the word I'm trying to come up with here, but
Yeah.
point being is like this puts your salespeople on steroids.
Mm,
There's now they don't miss anything. Now they follow up with everybody. Now they get back with customers in a timely manner. And a lot of the questions that are holding somebody up from finally signing the deal that could have just really been the most basic question that salesperson just didn't know to answer. AI is there to do that for them. So,
right.
it's converting more deals. It's helping people be better at their roles. I hear all the time, this isn't part of your question, of how AI is replacing roles. And frankly, I mean, I think right now, a lot of that's just news and media, because I would say that there's probably 5% of the companies in the US that actually have implemented AI and in a full scale way at most.
Mhm. Yeah.
But a lot of that is really about, how do we find employees that now we make better with AI and work in tandem with AI, not replaced by AI.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
the reality is we're all business owners. We know that we've got plenty of people that probably need to be replaced anyway, maybe with another human, but maybe with AI as well. But your strong performers, how do we make them better?
Right.
How do we take them from strong to excellent? And they can do that with
Mhm.
AI to fill in those gaps.
Yeah. But interesting note on that. It's football season right now as we're recording this, and both of us have teams that we support that are doing pretty well this season. Yours better than mine, but that's okay. There's I think of AI as like there's all the minutia in a play, in a football play, a good offensive play. There's all the minutia that sets up the right environment for the ball to move forward.
Mhm.
And the blocking has to be great. The lead if you're going to run the ball, you got to have like your lead blocker's got to slide across, cut through the hole first, make some extra room, get some downfield blocking so your running back runs the ball. Or you got your front five have got to do a great job with pass blocking, and maybe have your tight ends and somebody else, like a running back, come out and like contain the pocket so your quarterback's got time to throw. But sometimes the salespeople have got to hike the ball to themselves, block somebody. Like they've got so many things they're
So
trying to
many
do that
different
they
motions
imagine.
that they need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and humans aren't good at minutia. They're not. And that's one of the things. I mean, you know what we do, right? A client that like that we've been preaching that forever. Like, let's get the minutia out of the way so you can do what salespeople are good at, and that's having real conversations with people and moving the ball.
Yep.
And I mean, we see this as an opportunity. I mean, obviously, why one reason I wanted you on here. Like, this is a great partner of ours, guys. Like, we've got some really cool things we're about to announce with Leashed AI, and it's because even as good as our automations are, and they're good, like there are still opportunities to add and augment and plug in more holes and streamline even more. And so you guys have to be considering ways in which you can plug more and more of the holes in your sales flow, get your salespeople focused more and more on what they're the best in the world at. And it should be having conversations, getting people to commit, moving them forward. Anything that's not that, you need to find ways to wrap AI and automation around that so they can spend all their time doing what they're the best in the world at. We don't want Tom Brady when he was playing to be picking up the defensive end in a block, right? That's not his job.
No,
Even
you
though he
protect
might,
your
yeah,
protect your greatest players. Yep.
yeah. Anyway, this has been awesome. So other last thoughts from you. I know you got to run. What do you see as next, right? So AI and sales, there's so many different ways that we can apply that. I think we talked about a lot of those. Are there any other creative ways that you see people thinking about AI that they're, or maybe people should be thinking about AI, but they're not right now, outside of just the sales funnel?
Oh gosh, you really put me on the spot there. No, I think it's situational, right? I mean, there's always going to be the next great thing. There's always going to be something cool. AI is moving so fast. You and I were talking about this, and it's like, you know, 9 months in AI is several years, and it's just moving so quick. But I think it's really just identifying, what businesses need to do is identify the minutia. Where are the areas that we can help our people get better? And I think that's the next great thing in AI, not necessarily the next product or the next feature or anything like that. It's the adoption. It's identifying, it's adoption, and it's execution. And I think that's really that last piece from what I've seen within the industry is it's really funny. I have this picture in my head of a bunch of kids standing ready to jump in the lake from 20 feet above, sitting on the cliff, and they're each one of them are looking at each other. Which one are you gonna jump first? Um, and they're all just staring at each other, waiting for somebody to jump at this point. And I think the next great thing for AI is again the planning, getting the minutia, and the execution from a lot of the brands on what is going to be best, and A/B testing those things. And then I think that's when we will figure out what the next great thing is. But
Mm.
again, there's products and features that are coming out every single day. But there's got to be consumers and businesses to use those and take the leap to put them
Mm.
into their business. So I think that's when we'll find out what the next great thing is. So,
Yeah. Well, there's Kevin Harrington, the original Shark on Shark Tank. He was at a conference. I was right after him. He presented before me, and he said this right at the end. It's always stuck with me. He said, "Look, like, and the guy's worth he's a lot, many zeros,
couple bucks,
and
couple.
he's pretty humble still, but he grows business. He's like, look, I'm better than other people at business, not because I'm smarter." And he's plenty smart. He's like, it's because I'm not afraid to fail, so I iterate faster than everybody else. And I think this is what
Oh
AI's
gosh, I love that
superpower is.
one.
AI iterates naturally faster than humans could even possibly iterate. So it's going to learn and change and learn and change and learn and change. And that superpower, you apply that into your operations stack, you apply it into your finance, you apply it into any aspect of your business, sales, marketing. If we can leverage the power of iteration of AI, I think we've got ourselves in a really powerful situation in any aspect of a business. So, man, yeah, Josh, if people want to get in touch with you, because like, okay, I like what he's got to say. Clearly he knows what he's talking about. I need to get somebody I can talk to about AI. What's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
To me directly, I mean, folks are allowed to call me directly on my phone. I can't promise I'll always answer, but it's 385-888-6457. But get in touch with the business as a whole. Just come to leashedai.com. It's got our phone number on it. We've got contact forms on there. I'm always available on my cell phone, but we've also got a whole great team here as well that folks can get in touch with as well. And that's just at leashedai.com.
Awesome. And if somebody calls that number you just gave them, is it going to be an AI that answers, or are you going to answer?
That one, that'll be me. If you call my main line, you'll get my AI though.
Okay.
But I promise they'll schedule you with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. You should probably get an AI plugged into that, man. That'd be great.
That's a good idea. Maybe you can talk to my wife when she's calling me during the workday.
Never mind. Actually, strike that. Strike that. Yeah, wives don't want to talk to AIs when they're calling customers. That's for sure. Take note. Hey, Josh, thanks for your time today. Appreciate it. Love the partnership with Leashed AI and look forward to getting some cool announcements out in front of everybody real soon about that.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.